Howdy friends and family, thanks so much for joining me. This is week 10, day 1 in the series I am doing with Christ Memorial Lutheran Church about knowing God. And last week we just finished up talking about how the Lord is our banner and what that entails for us. And this week we are talking about how the Lord sanctifies us. And to sanctify something is to set it apart to a sacred purpose or to a religious use, to consecrate. Another definition would be to set it free from sin or to purify it, or a much shorter way of saying is to make holy. So we are looking at the sanctification that Jesus brings us this week, how Jesus makes us holy. So the name for God that talks about this sanctification process is Yahweh-Mekkodishkem. And we've seen the Yahweh part before. We've seen it several weeks in a row. You might also see Jehovah, depending on where you read it. But Yahweh or Jehovah means I am, and it is referencing the eternal, unchanging aspect of God. And when we tie it to these other aspects, these other words, it references that this aspect is not going to change either. So we've talked about how he is our healer, our banner, he sees us, all these different things. When we tie it to that Yahweh, it is letting us know that that is not going to change. So Yahweh, I am, eternal, unchanging God, the name for God. Mekkodishkem comes from the Hebrew word kadesh, and this means holy or set apart or consecrated. So it is referencing this setting something apart. The Lord who sanctifies us is what this means. Yahweh-Mekkodishkem, the Lord who sanctifies us. So I'm going to read Hebrews 10 through 14, which says, "And by that will we have been made holy through the sacrifice of the body of Jesus Christ once for all. Day after day, every priest stands and performs his religious duties. Again and again, he offers the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But when this priest had offered for all time one sacrifice for sins, he sat down at the right hand of God. Since that time, he waits for his enemies to be made his footstool, because by one sacrifice he has made perfect forever those who are being made holy." So the very first part of this tells us that Jesus' sacrifice on the cross makes us holy. And the entire passage is talking about animal sacrifices, which we've talked about a little bit before in the past, how there were certain animals that would be sacrificed for certain sins. And every time someone sinned, they had to go make a sacrifice. And I think there was even a sacrifice for sins they didn't know about. But this is saying that Christ's sacrifice covers all our sins, which again, we've talked about before. But this sacrifice also makes us holy. This sacrifice sanctifies us. And it is because of this one sacrifice that we are made perfect forever. And it also covers how the animal sacrifices weren't completely adequate for covering sin because they were animals and we are humans. And this is saying that not only does God's sacrifice cover all our sins, but it covers them with the single sacrifice. So we don't need any more sacrifices. And we are sanctified through it. And we don't need to do anything else for sanctification. We don't need anything else to set us apart and make us holy. No more sacrifices are necessary. So realize this week that God is your Yahweh-Mekkodishkem, who sanctifies you and sets you apart. And we'll continue talking about that the rest of the week. But if you are looking for a Bible verse to memorize, 2 Corinthians 5:17 is a great one to memorize. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.